Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by Hyundai. Experience the 2011 Hyundai Sonata today at HyundaiSonata.com.
This is Autoline Daily for November 23rd, bringing you the latest news in the automotive industry. Japanese automakers are getting hammered by the strong yen, so they're moving production out of Japan to low-cost countries. Mazda's CEO, Takashi Yamanuchi, says they're moving to Mexico because it has so many free trade agreements. Mazda decided not to go to Brazil, which has one of the fastest growing car markets in the world, because Brazil's free trade agreements only reach 6 million new car buyers a year. Mexico's free trade agreements reach 40 million new car buyers a year, which is about the same as North and South America and Europe all put together. As you know, Mazda is abandoning its plant in the United States because the U.S. only has free trade agreements with 17 countries, while Mexico has FTAs with 41 countries. Up to now, Chinese automakers have failed to receive high marks in European crash tests. We showed you this clip of a dummy's head nearly being decapitated in a landwind crash test from a few years ago, but it looks like Chinese automakers are starting to learn how to make safer cars. The Geely Emgrand EC7 and the MG6 were awarded 4 stars in the latest Euro NCAP tests, and testers believe it's only a matter of time before Chinese cars are getting 5-star ratings. Chrysler dominates the minivan market in the U.S. with the Chrysler Town & Country and the Dodge Grand Caravan, but the Detroit News reports the company will drop the Dodge version in the U.S. when the next-gen minivan debuts in a couple of years. However, in Canada, the Chrysler Town & Country name will be dropped. That's because the Dodge Grand Caravan is more popular in the Great White North, outselling the Chrysler Town & Country 10-1. But in the United States, the Town & Country traditionally outsold the Grand Caravan 2-1. The recession sure changed the automotive industry, no doubt about that. From the bankruptcies in Detroit to how people buy cars, the business just ain't the same anymore. And that hubbub really impacted the used car market, where prices are shockingly strong. According to Ward's, in some cases, second-hand vehicles are actually not depreciating in value. And you can blame it on supply and demand. When the economic downturn hit, it gutted new car sales, taking away anywhere from 3 to 4 million car sales a year. That means there's a much smaller pool of used cars available today. With the soft economy, more people are going to the pre-owned route to save money, and that's leading to strong demand and high prices. And according to one analyst, it doesn't show any signs of letting up. Prices are expected to increase by a few percentage points early next year. No surprise here, J.D. Power has found that users are dissatisfied with navigation systems. Poor routing, address not found errors, and difficult-to-use interfaces top the list of complaints. Nav systems from Mercedes-Benz, Ford, and Toyota, amongst others, filled out the bottom of the list. But there were 2 bright spots from the new Dodge Charger and Chrysler 300. They placed 1st and 3rd respectively in the owner survey. And you know, I've got to agree, I absolutely love the Garmin-supplied system that Dodge is using. Coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Dow Automotive Systems, driving solutions in automotive, commercial transportation, and aftermarket with innovative products like Betamate structural adhesives. Lighter, stronger, safer. DowBetamate.com.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. A lot of you had a lot to say about Fiat dumping Laura Suave. TJ Martin says, yeah, right, blame it on Laura. Not the fact that the car is an overpriced POS, that 99% of the dealer's salesmen are real tools, that Marchione sent the wrong models, and the fact that Fiat, other than J-Lo, hasn't spent a dime on promoting the little dumplings. Dave Forsland points out that VW once said, think small, and it grew big. Fiat said, think big, 50,000 the first year, and they ended up small. Phil in Burlington, Ontario writes in to say, I continue to be amazed at the glowing reviews the Chevrolet Sonic is getting. After all, I thought it was just a refreshing Daewoo product previously sold here as the Chevrolet Aveo and Pontiac Wave. Those vehicles typically received poor ratings for reliability and fuel economy. I know the vehicle is now made in the U.S., but surely changing the factory alone can't change a sow's ear into a silk purse. You're right, Phil, just changing factories is not going to make that much of a difference. But the Sonic is a completely redesigned car compared to the Aveo. And while I don't think it's as good as some of those gushing reviews would have you believe, it's actually a pretty decent small car. We reported that BMW bought SGL Carbon to make carbon fiber cars, and that prompted Tom Kowaleski, the outgoing vice president of BMW North American Public Relations, to write in. Just to clarify, he says, BMW originally purchased an 8% interest in SGL Carbon at the time we began the joint venture to build a plant in Moses Lake, Washington, to manufacture carbon fiber to be used in the new BMW i3 and i8 vehicles beginning in 2013. Today's announcement was that the company increased its stake to 15%, rather than it being an initial purchase. BMW was the first automaker to take an equity stake in the company. And thanks for that correction, Tom. A few too many of you, in my opinion, wrote in to praise Peter DeLorenzo for filling in for me while I was at the Los Angeles Auto Show last week. Chuck Grenchy says, thanks for helping John out this week, Peter. L.S. Ford says, bye, Peter. Funny how he hosted the show from a cockpit. And W.L. Simpson says, good week, PD. John better watch his six. Watch my six. Watch my six. Hey! Hey! Well, actually, I want to thank Peter for filling in, and I want to thank you for all your letters and comments. We get a kick out of reading them. Hey, a programming note here. We're taking the rest of the week off for the Thanksgiving Day holiday. That also means there will be no Autoline After Hours tomorrow. So, have a great weekend with your family and friends, and we'll see you back here on Monday.